Hey there guys, I'm back to another video. Today I'm here doing my PlayStation 4 Collection update video for the year 2020. It's been a while since I've updated my PlayStation 4 Collection for you guys, so I'm just going to recap everything once again, show you guys some of the new stuff and obviously a lot of the old stuff that I've had in my collection since I've gotten my PlayStation 4 and things like that. But first, I have to talk about the games that I don't have and the digital games. So the one game I don't have is Detroit Become Human. I did a full review on this game, but TLDR, the game is great. I really like the 3 different stories with Marcus, Kara, and Connor. Those 3 stories were pretty good in my opinion. Obviously, Connor's story I think is a lot better than the other 2, but they're still pretty good stories at the end of the day. Presentation-wise, like the game just looks beautiful, amazing, fantastic. If you guys want my full, more detailed thoughts on the game, I will have a playlist on the top right corner of your screen along with a individual link in the description below to the Detroit Become Human game review that I did on this channel. The other 2 games that I want to talk about that I don't have physically because I bought them digitally, didn't buy digitally. The Last of Us Part 1, that game was bundled with my PlayStation 4 because that's just the bundle I got. And what can I say about that game that hasn't already been said? The game is amazing. It's a fantastic gameplay, story, presentation, all really, really, really good. And then when it comes to the other digital game is Sonic Mania. I bought the collector's edition that you can see right there. But yeah, I bought the game because I'm a huge Sonic fan, as you can tell by my name, TV Sonic Gaming. And I bought the game, wasn't really expecting all that much, but this is honestly my favorite Sonic game to date. The game is awesome. The game is great, fantastic. Everything that the game does, it does it really, really, really well. The gameplay, obviously the story is not exactly amazing or anything like that, but the presentation, the music, everything like that. Once again, did another review on that game, Sonic Mania, for this channel as well. Okay, you're going to hear me say that a lot throughout this video, that I did a review on the X game, because I honestly reviewed a lot of the PlayStation 4 titles that have come out so far. So, let's get into the games that I have physically that you can see as a part of my collection. A Way Out. Did a full review on this game once again, but the fact that this is a must 2-player co-op game is very interesting, and I think what they wanted to do with this game was successful. I think that this game, for what it was, I think the game retailed at $40 or something like that. This was not a full $60 game by any means, because it's not that long, and a lot of the things that the game does isn't like fantastic or like stellar or amazing or anything like that. It just functions as like a PS4, Xbox One, PC title, and I think that this game was very ambitious on what it did, like I said, and I think it accomplished that. Once again, did a full review on this game that you can see on this channel. Assassin's Creed Origins, I think I've showed this before, but it is still sealed. I've yet to open it. Bought this at bestbuy.com, I believe, when there was like a price error with it. I think I bought it for like $10, $20, something like that when the game just came out. So I bought it thinking that I was going to play it, and turns out I've yet to actually open it and play it, because open world games are obviously like super duper big and really, really long. So if I started, I kind of want to like finish it and like get through it. But from my understanding, this was the first Assassin's Creed from Ubisoft, and like this new Assassin's Creed era that was like a return to form for the series. So I can't really say much outside of that, because as you can tell, I haven't played it. Next game we got here, Batman Arkham Knight. I know some people are saying that people are really harsh on this game, but I honestly still stand in terms of where in terms of my opinion on this game. The game is not all that great. In terms of a conclusion for the Batman Arkham series, it's kind of disappointing. The Batmobile stuff was not all that good. Once again, I did a full review on this game, so if you guys want to see my more like detailed thoughts on it. But yeah, the Batmobile stuff wasn't all that great. The story, like the Arkham Knight, like at a certain point in the story, I like literally knew who he was, and I was like, that is not fun. Like, I wish that they tried something a little bit more clever with the Arkham Knight. And yeah, like the Batmobile, the story, presentation wise, you know, the piece outside of the PC version, the game looks good. It works. It's just that if you bought it on PC, the game was like literally broken, which sucked. But yeah, it just sucks that the last game for the Arkham series wasn't the best, in my opinion. I still think Arkham City and Arkham Asylum are like obviously the top when it comes to the Batman Arkham series. But anyways, next game here, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Once again, did a review on this game, but this game is really, really good when it comes to being a remaster of classic titles. Going from the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 4, this game does a stellar job. Presentation-wise, obviously, like the game looks beautiful. gameplay wise, it still feels very similar to the PlayStation 1 titles. Maybe not exact, but it feels very similar to those games. And this was my first time ever finishing Crash 1. Replaying Crash 2 and 3 was a fun time. Crash 2 is still my favorite. But yeah, this is a fun trilogy of titles. If you have yet to buy it, it's not exclusive on the PlayStation 4 anymore. It is available on pretty much everything. Switch, Xbox One, PC, things like that. So if you haven't played it, you should definitely try it out. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. I've never played the original, so jumping into this one, I was expecting something fun, but I just wasn't that impressed by it. I kind of played it for a couple of hours, but wasn't like too like enthralled in it. I really just couldn't get like sucked into how the game worked, how the story mode worked, things like that. So when it comes to kart racing games outside of Mario Kart, I really want to play like the single player stuff only. I'm not really interested in like online aspects and things like that. When it comes to Mario Kart, I will gladly play the online because I really like the single player stuff there too. But I think when it comes to kart racing games outside of Mario Kart, I really like I really want to like dive into like the single player stuff, like I said. But the game just didn't like impress me, or like I'm not sure exactly what it was. But I bought it on a Black Friday for like I think it was $20 or something like that. It was definitely on sale. So I'm not too sad about picking this one up, but yeah, I was just not sold on it, I guess. Next game we got here is Days Gone. I have not reviewed the game because I haven't finished it because the game is just that boring. It is a open world zombie apocalypse game, and I think when it comes to Days Gone, I think the reason why I wasn't sucked into this game's world is because I'm so used to like the zombie aesthetic and like the world has come to an end, things like that. The survival post-apocalyptic world, I think I'm just over it. I played so many games, The Last of Us, The Walking Dead, and countless other like zombie games that like when Days Gone finally came around and I was like, maybe I should try it out because there's not a lot of press on it, there's not a lot of people really talking about it, like this is my chance to like talk about this game and like when like not a lot of people are really talking about it, and sort of like make a video on it, things like that. But that never came to fruition because the game's like plus 40 hours long, and like the first 5 to 6 hours of the game that I played, I was just not impressed, just not invested in these characters, the story that they were trying to set up, the world of Days Gone. Like maybe one day I'll try to pick it back up and like start a new game and maybe try it again, but I don't know. It's just that the zombie like world and like theme is just, I'm just over it. All right, next game we got here is Devil May Cry 5. I can't remember if I actually finished this game or not, but I'm pretty sure I got like pretty far into DMC 5. But I'm honestly a huge fan of the DMC reboot that they did back in like 2012 or whatever that year was, 2013. And I was a huge fan of it, but a lot of people didn't like it, so they came back to the original DMC and made DMC 5. But this game in particular is pretty good. The 3 different characters that you get to go and play as are all different and unique in some way that it makes their gameplay style different enough to not feel sort of the same. Story wise, I really have no idea what the hell is going on. I kind of just like wasn't paying attention to the story, all things considered. Like I was just here for the gameplay, and the gameplay was really, really good. So next game we got here is Doom 2016. I bought this at Best Buy during a Black Friday sale. I can't remember which year it was, but I always come back to this because I can't believe I bought the game and it was ripped open. That really blows. But anyways, Doom 2016, it's pretty fun. I never finished it. I've gotten like maybe 2 to 3 hours in. I'm not that far into the game. But this is a fun, sort of just like you just shoot things and just kill things, and it's bloody and gory. So, if you know what Doom is, you should know what to expect when playing this one. And even like the new one is very similar and pretty much just does things a lot better than the first game, obviously. Next game is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I bought this game during a Black Friday sale at Best Buy one year. I forget which year. But I did like a speed review on it. I did like a 1-minute review on it. So if you want to check out my quick thoughts on it, you can check out that video. But Yeah, the game's pretty fun. I honestly really liked it. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z, I think you should definitely give it a shot because you pretty much get to create your own Dragon Ball Z character, and then you get to relive the Dragon Ball Z moments as you're like trying to fix the timeline, sort of thing. It's a very interesting way to like execute a Dragon Ball Z story, I will say, but it does it pretty well. I'm gonna be honest. You know, it does sound a little goofy because like pretty much most Dragon Ball Z games, their stories are just retelling what the anime did, but this one does like a small twist on it, and I think it kind of works. Gonna be honest. But the gameplay, it's interesting. It's not like an action RPG, but you want to like do like actions and things like that. It's very reminiscent of like Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi, but it's not exactly like that, if that makes any sense. But the gameplay is still pretty fun. The graphics are pretty good. I always like anime graphics on like, or like anime HD graphics for games, and I think they always look pretty good for most games. But yeah, you know, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I thought that it was pretty fun. I had a good time with it for, I think it was like $20 for what I spent. I spent like a pretty decent amount of time on this game, so really, really fun. The next Dragon Ball Z game here is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Shout out to my boy Damien for giving me this game for my birthday. We do a podcast together every other week. We talk about games, movies, and anime. You can check that out at anchor.fm/TravisDamien podcast. But outside of that, I played the first couple of hours of this game, and pretty much this game is a single player action RPG where you are playing through the entire Dragon Ball Z story arc from Sand Saga to Buu Saga, but they add like a little extra like story elements here and there to like make the game sort of like pad the game out just a little bit, whether it's for like gameplay or like story purposes. Mostly it's for story, but I can't really say that confidently because I've only played it for a couple of hours. I literally got to like the Nappa fight, I think. Maybe I got past that. I can't exactly remember. It's been a while since I've actually played the game, unfortunately. But it is pretty fun. I'm going to be honest. As a person who doesn't play action RPGs, like at all, I don't play RPGs that often. But for a action RPG that involves Dragon Ball Z and you're going through the story again, but like extra little bits and details here and there, it's pretty fun. The gameplay, it's pretty much like most action RPGs, you want to do a command and things like that, and you know things are happening. So simultaneously, it's all happening in real time. If you played an action RPG, you know what I'm talking about. But you now have Dragon Ball Z characters and Dragon Ball Z moves and things like that. But the game is pretty fun. It is honestly like a pretty good like Dragon Ball Z game. If you're a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, you should definitely give this one a shot because you get a chance to go through the Dragon Ball Z story once again, but at the same time, you get to learn new details about the story, and you get to play it in an action RPG form. I know the gameplay style might turn some people off because it is an action RPG, but yeah. Next game here I got is Freedom Planet. This is like a Sonic game, but not really a Sonic game. It was made by a indie developer. I can't exactly remember who it was. I guess it was this studio, but I bought the physical PlayStation 4 game from Limited Run because one day I'm gonna actually play this game. Maybe not this copy, but maybe on like PC or something like that, and I just want like a physical copy of it because I love Sonic, obviously, if you couldn't tell by my name. So I just wanted like a physical copy of Freedom Planet because I heard that it was honestly a pretty good game. The last PlayStation 4 exclusive title, Ghost of Tsushima. I did a video on this game. You can check that out on this channel. I'm pretty happy with this game overall. I really like the gameplay, especially the world of Tsushima. The story was all right, and I think the presentation could have been a little bit better. But if you want my detailed thoughts on this game, definitely check out my video on that. God of War 3 Remastered, even after the new God of War game, which I will talk about next, this is still my favorite God of War game by far. The story of just killing all of the gods, the gameplay, I think is the best by far when it comes to the God of War hack and slash sort of, genre. When it comes to the hack and slash God of War games, this is definitely the best one and definitely my favorite. And obviously the presentation just gets bumped up a lot more when you remaster it for the PlayStation 4. So yeah, God of War 3 is pretty good. Next game we got here is God of War, the new one, the remake, remaster, reimagining, whatever you want to call it. Pretty much God of War 4. And this game is pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not going to say I love it. I'm not going to say it's like the top 5 best PlayStation 4 games. Probably top 10, like 100% top 10. But it's definitely not my top 5 personally. But the game is a new God of War sort of series. and the combat is very much like a Souls-like game where you have to focus on dodging, parrying attacks while also trying to get your own attacks in. The story with Atreus and Kratos is pretty good. I believe his name is Atreus, I forget. But boy. Oh yeah, his name Atreus right there. Yeah. So pretty much the father-son duo is very interesting. I think we've seen this more with the success of The Last of Us 2. We saw a lot more of like game companion sort of storylines be brought up, and I think that this one does it pretty well. Presentation, it's really, really good. Like, it looks great. Once again, did a full review on this game, so if you want to check that out, you can. It's available on this YouTube channel. I'm just going to blaze through these games because I haven't played them, but I bought them because I know that one day I'm going to actually play them. So we got the Gravity Rush duology here. So Gravity Rush Remastered. The physical version was a Amazon exclusive, so I bought this whenever I was interested in getting into the Gravity Rush series. I forget when that was, but I bought this for whatever the price Amazon had it for used. Someone actually traded this into Amazon and they resold it for, I think it was $40, maybe $50. I can't exactly remember. But that might sound expensive, but if you go on eBay right now, I'm sure the game is well over that price for the North American release of Gravity Rush Remastered physical on the PlayStation 4. But yeah, that's pretty much why I have that in my collection. And then I bought this one at Best Buy, brand new for like $20 or something like that. So, you know, whenever I get to the first one, I get to play the second one right after. So there's that. Then next game we got here is Horizon Zero Dawn. This is another big open world game for the PlayStation 4, and it is pretty good. It is coming to PC later this year. And yeah, I really like the way that they do the open world aspect of this game. The just playing the game, you know, the bow and arrow, everything like that. Like, the game was honestly like really, really fun to play through. The story, I don't remember a lot of it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember a lot of the story. But when it comes to the gameplay, it is really, really fun, and I had a good time with it. And obviously the presentation is pretty good. Next game I got here is Infamous Second Son. I got the collector's edition here, and this is what the box looks like as well with one of the covers. But I actually played this game more recently, and I did a full review on it when I played it back in 2015 or whatever year I played it. Anyways, the game is still like pretty good. I think that when it comes to Infamous as a series, I think that this is the best one when it comes to gameplay, because there are 3 different abilities that you get throughout the game, and they all function and work in different ways, and they all have their own different little abilities and different upgrades and things like that. And traveling in this game is definitely by far the best out of any Infamous game, and it is super duper fun. Even the First Light, which is like a small little like DLC expansion for Second Son, was pretty good, but Second Son as the base game, I think, is still a pretty good game. Despite what people may say about it when it comes to the story and things like that, honestly, I really did like the story. I like the gameplay, the presentation, all that stuff. Is it the best Infamous game? Definitely not, but it is still a pretty good Infamous title, in my opinion. Next, I guess 5 games here. I'm just going to blaze through them because these are limited run Jak and Daxter games. So first one we got here is the Precursor Legacy. The first one, still a classic and really, really good. Jak 2, definitely the hardest out of the entire series. I have yet to actually finish it myself, but there's that, Jak 2. Jak 3, definitely my favorite out of the original trilogy. I think that this game is still really, really good when it comes to the open world aspects and things like that. But yeah. Jak X Combat Racing. From the time I actually played it on my PS2 before it corrupted my entire memory card, I honestly had a pretty good time with this game. This is a fun racing Jak and Daxter game, like a fun racing game in general, so pretty good. And then lastly, it's not really a game, it's just a promotional Jak 4 box art thing we got going on here, because since I bought all of the limited run Jak and Daxter games, you get this mock case for free. Next games we got here, once again, I think I'm going to have to go and blaze through these real quick. We got the Kingdom Hearts series, the story so far, and Kingdom Hearts 3. So I've always wanted to get into the Kingdom Hearts series. I've tried one on the PlayStation 3, but I wasn't all that into it. And I bought Kingdom Hearts 3 when it came out, mainly just to like show support for the game, because I know that this game has has been wanted from fans for many, many years, and I wanted the game to do well financially. So I was like, I'm gonna buy this game, and I actually didn't play it because both of these games are still sealed. I probably shouldn't have done that because I would have saved myself a buttload of money if I didn't buy Kingdom Hearts 3 at launch, but it is what it is. Can't really do much at the end of the day now, but yeah, if I ever want to play the Kingdom Hearts series and I have like all of the time in the world, I have the entire series in the palm of my hands with these 2 games. I know some of them in the story so far, they aren't games, but they have like cutscenes, like updated cutscenes or whatever. Next game we got here is Knack. I actually do have a video on this game if you want to check me out on there, my Knack review. But is the game as bad as people say it is? Kind of. It is a platformer that has a weird difficulty curve at random points, and it also has bad checkpoints, a story that isn't all that interesting or compelling. But yeah, overall, like Knack it's not that great of a game. So, but I heard Knack 2 is better, but I have not bought that yet. So, next game we got here is Life is Strange Before the Storm Limited Edition. I haven't opened this because I actually played it all on PC. The main reason I bought this was for like a collectible figure, which you'll see on your screen right here. Hopefully, I'll be able to put that in. But yeah, I pretty much bought it just for these figures. Because these are really cute Chloe and Rachel figures. Anyways, the game itself, it is a prequel to the Life is Strange 1 game, and I think it does a pretty alright job. Since it is a prequel game, there's only so much that they could do within, I think it was like the 4 episodes that they had. So there was only so much that they could do to like flesh out Rachel Amber's character and Chloe's relationship with her and things like that. But yeah, I think the game overall was not that bad. I think that it could have been better, but I think the product that we got at the end of the day wasn't terrible. So next game we got here is Medieval. Once again, sealed PlayStation 4 game. I bought this, I forget when. I think it was maybe Black Friday. Maybe I bought it when it came out. I can't exactly remember, I'm going to be honest. But this is a game that I've wanted to play for a very, very long time, and I'm glad that they did a remake of it. I bought it just to show support of it because I always want, remakes and remasters for like platformers or like whatever this game is to like succeed and like do well. I think this is like a platformer. But this is a PlayStation 1 game that was remastered for the PlayStation 4, and I bought it because I've been interested in this series Medieval for a while. So, buying it on the PlayStation 4 probably wasn't that bad of a sort of investment because I'm eventually going to play it, but have yet to do so. Next game we got here is Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. This is the last game in the Naruto Ultimate Ninja series, I believe. Ultimate Ninja Storm anyways. Pretty sure they made more Naruto games after this, but this is the last one I played personally. I've always loved the Naruto Ultimate Ninja series on the PlayStation 2, and then when they did Storm for the PlayStation 3, and now the 4th one on the PlayStation 4. I love the series just because it's a way for me to actually learn about the Naruto story, but without actually having to watch the anime or read the manga because, I really like the Naruto characters. Like, I love Naruto, I love Sasuke, I love Itachi, the entire cast of characters, and the story that the Naruto series tells is a little, it can be confusing at times from a person who's only played the games. I can't really confidently say that it is like super duper confusing. But sometimes I'm like, all right, what the hell's going on? How did this happen? Things like that. So, but overall, this is still a fun like Naruto game. If you have watched the anime or read the manga, I'm pretty sure that you will enjoy this game as like an anime fighter. So. Next game we got here, I actually opened this game, but I've never played it. Nier Automata, Game of the Year Edition. I've been told that this game is super good. So I wanted to buy it and play it. I think I bought this on Amazon for like pretty cheap. I think it was like $10 or something like that. It was like really, really cheap. So I was like, Game of the Year Edition, $10. And I opened it because when it came in the mail, the disc was out of place or something like that. Oh shoot, that is the code for all of the game add-ons. Oh wait, can you even see that? No, you can't. Okay, I'm gonna redeem that anyways after this video. I need to remind myself to do that. Anyways, yeah, I bought this game because I heard it was super good, so. Moving on, we got Persona 5. I've opened it, but I've never played it once again. This is a game that my friend Damien, once again, the podcast, he praised he praises Persona like so much. He's like, Persona 5 is like super good. So I was like, all right, I'll buy it. And I think it was like really cheap at like Best Buy for like $20 or something like that. So I was like, all right, I'll buy it because, you know, Joker is in Smash Brothers too. So I want to go and see what game he comes from, things like that. So, but yeah, one day I will actually pop this game in and try it out. I hear the new one, the new Persona 5 is like better. It like pretty much improves everything on that game, but I already have this one. So I don't want to spend more money when I don't have to. But yeah, Persona 5, I heard that this game is really good. So another game that I can't really talk about because I can talk about it a little bit. Psychonauts. I played a little bit of it on the PlayStation 2. I bought this limited run edition of the game on the PlayStation 4 because why not? But yeah, I played a little bit of it and I thought that it was all right. It's like a platformer game, I believe, but with like weird elements going on here and there. But yeah, once again, Damien recommends that I should play this game, which I probably should, you know, sit down, play, and finish it one day. But yeah, Psychonauts is a interesting game. I will say that. That's all I can really say about it because I haven't played a lot of it, but I know that it is a platforming game, I believe. Next game we got here is Ratchet Clank on the PlayStation 4. This game isn't all that great when it comes to Ratchet Clank games, in my opinion. I think maybe on my Ratchet Clank tier list, I probably should have put this a little bit lower. But the gameplay is really good. I will stand by that. The gameplay is super polished. The story is not that great because it is based on the movie, and they changed a lot of the Ratchet Clank story for the movie, but they just ripped that story and put it into this game. But the gameplay, I will still say, is pretty good, and the presentation is pretty good as well. So, but yeah, not the best Ratchet Clank game, but if you need more Ratchet Clank action, this game is not that bad. Next game here is Red Dead Redemption 2. Every single year that this game was supposed to come out, it was my most anticipated game within my top 5 or whatever. And I was really excited for it because I honestly really love Red Dead Redemption 1. I think the story, the gameplay, all that stuff for Red Dead 1 were really good. But for the sequel, it's not as great as the first, in my opinion. I haven't finished it, obviously. Or not obviously, that's not obvious. But I haven't finished it. And the main reason is because I just wasn't sucked into the world of Red Dead Redemption as I was with the first game compared to this one. I'm not sure what it was. I'm not sure if it's just because I just wasn't super into open world games that are really long and things like that. Because this was around the same time where I also tried Days Gone and I wasn't really into that one either. So I'm not sure what it is, but I recently obviously finished Ghost of Tsushima and I really like that. So I'm not sure if I just wasn't into open world games back then or what it was, but Red Dead Redemption 2 was just not my cup of tea. And it is honestly kind of disappointing that I didn't really like get myself into this game as I did with Red Dead 1. So unfortunate. Next game we got here is Resident Evil 2. This is my first ever Resident Evil game. And I started with this one because I heard that this remake was pretty good. And the original Resident Evil 2 is also pretty good. So them remaking it in this fashion was, you know, going to be a combination for success. And it was. And this game, I am really dumb. So I did not finish the game. But from what I played of it, I had a good time with it. I was scared shitless. Gonna be honest. I was not having a good time with it when it came to like, oh God, like what is behind this corner, this and that. But yeah, it is a fun game from what I played, and yeah, survival horror games are definitely not my forte, but I definitely went in there expecting that because I know who I am. So at the end of the day, Rise of the Tomb Raider. This is the second game in the Tomb Raider news series with Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix. I love the first game. I played that on PC. I played and finished it all in one sitting, and I really liked it. And for this one, I obviously haven't opened it and played it yet, but one day. Next game we got here is Sonic Forces. I once again did a video on this one as well. And this game is not that good. Classic Sonic just being thrown in there for no reason was really jarring and really bad in my opinion. The create your own character was not all that great. I know it's for like younger audiences and for younger children that actually want to like create their own Sonic character and this like their dream, like, oh my God, we can finally create our own Sonic character. But when this was announced for this game, I was like, all right, like this is this is pretty cap. Like, I don't know about this move. And then when the game finally came out, played it, and I was just not impressed. And also the story that they were setting up, man, it was like Sonic has lost. Like, they lost against Eggman, against like this war, and like Infinite as a villain, but it all just falls flat because like they flip-flop between like being a super dark story or not, and like Infinite is just not a great villain. But yeah, if you want my full, more detailed thoughts, I have a game review on this channel. Next game here, Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4. I really, really love this game. This is probably my favorite PlayStation 4 game of all time. This game is just so goddamn good. And I think that a lot of people who really like Spider-Man as a character should definitely play this game. And even if you don't know Spider-Man as a character, I think that you will definitely get a kick out of this game's story, because it does show like a really good Spider-Man story. Like, juggling between the life of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, like those two lives get affected so much within this game. And I think that should be applauded for Insomniac Games, because that means they know who Spider-Man as a character is. But yeah, like overall, like this game is really, really, really good, and I love it. So yeah, and once again, I did a review on this game as well. The Spyro Reignited trilogy. I've yet to open it and actually play it, but the game itself is, it's just a remake of the original Spyro games. What else can I really say? Because I haven't played it, but I heard that the third game's kind of buggy. But outside of that, I heard that this remake of trilogies, or remake of this trilogy, is pretty good. And the third game is downloaded or something like that. Like, not all of the games are on the disc, which is really jarring, I'm gonna be honest. Next game we got here is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This is a game that I bought for like $40 at the end of, when did this game come out? At the end of 2019. I bought it for like $40 because I really wanted to play it, because a lot of people were talking about this game. They were like, this is a really good like Star Wars game, and I was like, all right, I think I should try it out, because like I really do like the Star Wars series, and I really like the Clone Wars. Specifically when it comes to the Clone Wars TV show with Ahsoka and all of them. And I know that this one takes place before episode 4, like after episode 3, before episode 4, like within like that sort of timeline. So I thought that this game was going to be interesting, and it is. I haven't finished it personally, but the story that it was trying to tell was interesting once again. The gameplay is pretty fun. It's once again a Souls-like sort of game where, blocking and dodging and things like that are very important. You can't just run in there with your lightsaber and just mash the attack button to kill everyone, because that is not going to work. But yeah, overall, like this game is it's pretty good. I mean, I haven't finished it, so just keep that in mind. But I thought that from what I played, it was a fun experience. Tearaway Unfolded. This is a game that I bought early on when I got my PlayStation 4, and I've yet to finish it. Every single time I pick it up and try to play it, I have yet to actually sit down and finish it, because when I re-pick it back up, I forget how to play, mechanics of the game, things like that. So then I just restart again, and then the cycle starts over. I've literally done that twice, where I started the game, stopped, and then I had to restart it because I forgot where I was. So maybe one day I will actually sit down and play it. But from what I played of it, which is like most of the game, it's a pretty fun platformer that involves you using the touchpad and arts and crafts and things like that. This is from the creators of Little Big Planet, as you can tell from the sticker. But yeah, the game is pretty fun. I haven't finished it, but I played it a lot, and I haven't fully completed it, which is dumb. But the game is pretty good. That's all I will say. Next game we got here is the Man of Medan, or the Dark Pictures Anthology Man of Medan. This is a game that I did a video on as well, and I think that there are problems with this game, unfortunately, because of what they were trying to accomplish, and I think that they just didn't play test the game properly. So yeah, the mode that I played with my friends was the what's it called? It was a mode where each player took control of a certain character. So depending on which character you chose, you would have gotten either more gameplay or less gameplay. So it's very interesting, because when like I was playing, right, I was like, all right, I want to see how this story plays out, but I want to play the game at the same time. When my friends were like watching me, they were bored. Like, the story just wasn't interesting or compelling. Like, it just it just didn't like hit the marks that I think it wanted to, unfortunately. But my full detailed, like more like actually thought out opinions will be featured in that Man of Medan video. But overall, like the game is just disappointing, and I hope that they could pick it back up with the future games that are coming out soon. Next game we got here is The Last of Us Part 2. The reason I only chuckled is because I know that this game pretty much stirred a lot of controversy and things like that. I even, as you can tell, I bought the collector's edition with the steelbook. But yeah, like this game is very controversial. The game is very polarizing when it comes to the story, especially. If you want my full detailed thoughts on it, it's like a almost 40-minute video I worked on. It was literally just on this game. You could check that out on this channel. In the defense of The Last of Us Part 2. But overall, I think that this is a flawed game, but I don't think it is a bad game necessarily. There are flaws in the story. There are some flaws within the gameplay, being too similar to the first, that I will admit that I didn't say in my original video that I did. But I think overall that the game is still like a good game. It is still a good game at the end of the day. It's just that it didn't do what the first game did, which was be like a perfect masterpiece sort of thing. So unfortunate that the sequel couldn't live up to the original, but that's just the risk that you literally have to take when you make a sequel, especially as big as The Last of Us is, you know. So but yeah, if you want my full detailed thoughts on it, in defense of The Last of Us Part 2, featured on this channel. Next game I got here is ToeJam and Earl Back in the Groove. I've always wanted to get into the ToeJam and Earl series, and this is the newest one. And Limited Run Games obviously did a physical edition for the PlayStation 4 version. Haven't played it, obviously. It's still sealed, but yeah. Next game we got here is Tricky Towers. I actually found this at like a GameStop or something. I didn't know that they made a physical version of Tricky Towers. So I was like, ooh, I want to buy this game to add to my collection. So I did. But I played this game a lot on my computer with my friends. And this game is super fun. If you like Tetris and you like puzzle games, this is a competitive version of Tetris, but it's not Tetris 99. And this game has like real world physics and like power-ups and things like that. This is honestly a super fun time if you have friends that are interested in like playing a puzzle game like Tetris, but against each other. It's super fun, like honestly. It's available on like most platforms these days. I believe it's obviously available on PlayStation 4, the Switch, Xbox, Steam, you know, all of those digitally. If you want them physically, you're gonna have to look online and things like that, but yeah. Next 3 games I got here is the Uncharted games. So we'll go through the first one, which is the Nathan Drake Collection, which contains all 3 of the PlayStation 3 titles. I think the trilogy as a whole is pretty good. The first game is obviously the first game, so there are flaws with it when you look at the second and third game especially. But the second game is still like miles better than like the first game, and the third game was sort of like the same as the second, but with a new story and new setting and things like that. But yeah, like the trilogy as a whole is like pretty damn good. Like it's kind of hard to like say that Uncharted is like a bad trilogy on the PlayStation 3 anyway. So Nathan Drake Collection also just like, you know, bumps up the graphics and like makes the games look better, things like that. But Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, I think that this game is definitely the best out of the 4 games. This game actually gives us a really good conclusion to Nathan Drake's character and the Uncharted series as a whole. If Naughty Dog decide to go back to this franchise, I'm going to be really worried, because I think that Uncharted 4 ended the series off perfectly. And not just the ending, but the story itself is pretty good. The gameplay is really, really nice as well. I did a review on all of the Uncharted games that you are about to see on this channel as well, the original trilogy and this game. So want to check that out, you can check it out on this very channel. But speaking of the last Uncharted game, The Lost Legacy, personally, I did not like this game as much as the other ones, but this is a spin-off game, so maybe I should be a little nicer to it. But yeah, the story just didn't do much for me. The gameplay was more of Uncharted 4, but with, you know, just Chloe and Nadine, you know, just doing stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm in, but like I'm not fully in, sort of thing, if you get my drift. But yeah, Uncharted The Lost Legacy. If you need more Uncharted action in your life, like this is like a fine supplement for that. But yeah, I thought that it was okay. It's not terrible, but it's not like super great either. Next game we got here is Vampire. I honestly opened this game. I forget exactly why, because I thought I was going to play, but I actually never did play it. This is a game made by Don't Nod, who are the creators of Life is Strange, and I heard that this is a pretty good like vampire game, like all things considered. And I've wanted to play this game for a while, but I've yet to actually pop the game in and play it. So maybe I will do that one day. But I heard that this game was all right to like pretty good to some people. So can't really say that. Can't really say much outside of that because that's like a pretty far range. And then the last 2 games I got here are 2 games that I actually haven't played. So we're just going to end the video off like this. Watch Dogs and Yooka-Laylee. Watch Dogs I bought way before the first game even came out, which is why it is still sealed. This is a game that came out and a lot of people were like really mad and like upset about the game because it didn't look as good as like the E3 presentations and things like that. But I bought it when it was like $10. So I was like, excuse me. I was like, why not? You know, purchase it, see what happens. Haven't opened it, obviously. Haven't played it because it is another open world game, and open world games do scare me in some degree. And then the other game here is Yooka-Laylee. I think a lot of people were really harsh on this game, but I haven't played it yet. I've only opened it because I thought I was going to play just like Vampire, but I never actually popped it in. So I opened it, and then I was like, oh, wait, I want to do this thing or whatever. But yeah, this is a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, and a lot of people were excited for it. People funded the Kickstarter, things like that. I didn't do any of that. I just bought the game when it was like a price error on like Amazon or something for like really, really cheap. So yeah. But that is my entire PlayStation 4 collection. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it wasn't too long for you guys. But yeah, this is my entire PlayStation 4 collection. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys haven't already, you can subscribe and put new videos up on Saturdays. You can follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter for updates of my future videos. Check me out on twitch.tv/tvsonicgaming. I stream there every week at 1 p.m. EST to 6 p.m. EST on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And you can check out my podcast, the Travis and Damien Podcast, at anchor.fm/Travis Damien Podcast. Once again, we talk about games, movies, anime every other week. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video once again. I'll see you guys next time with more videos. Game on, gamers.